Let's begin today's practice in a comfortable seated position, drawing shoulder blades down along the back, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Let's close the eyes as we begin to lengthen the inhales and the exhales. With every inhale, you want to feel like your rib cage is expanding in all directions, creating space for the lungs. Exhale, push the air out of your belly as you start to relax into your body. Today's intention is all around accepting wherever we are at today. On an inhale, let's open the arms up, and exhale, round as though you're hugging a big beach ball. We're going to repeat this version, a seated version of cat-cow, warming up the spine. Our inhales will open us, and our exhales will round us over. Changing directions with the body as we change directions with the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Seeing if you can open up a little more, and on your exhale, see if you can round a little deeper. Now let's lift our right hand for a side body stretch. Relax the shoulder down, and then reach as far as you can to the left without tilting forward. We want to keep those shoulders stacked and the heart open, twisting up towards the sky. Feeling this from fingertip to hip bone, continuing that calm, steady breathing pattern. And let's take it over to the other side. Left arm lifts, relax the shoulder, and stretch over to the right. Finding with every breath that your body melts in a little bit deeper into the pose. Continuing that steady, fluid breathing. And let's return to center. Moving into side plank, I'm going to show you two different options. The baby bear option is to keep the bottom knee directly under the hip as we take the top hand up towards the sky. So this is level 1. If you want to go a little deeper, you can stack the feet in front of each other, lifting those hips into a straight line. If you need a little extra, try stacking one foot on top of the other. As you can see, this automatically increases the level of challenge to the balance right off the bat. You want to continue lifting it through the rib cage and the side body. And let's take it over to a traditional plank. Hips face the ground, lifting between the shoulder blades. Don't sink here on the shoulder blades. Pulling the belly button in, drawing the crown of the head long towards the front of your mat. Continuing to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And let's walk it over to the other side. So if you're taking the knee to the ground, this is where you're going to take it to the other side. Otherwise, you can stack one foot in front of the other, or for that extra added level of challenge, you can stack your feet parallel. Lift in the rib cage, draw the top hand up towards the sky. Imagine you're growing longer from fingertip to fingertip. Continue to breathe, and let's return to our forward plank. Lifting the hips, we'll press back into down dog. You might want to walk the feet in a little bit. And since this is our first down dog of the day, we're just going to alternate bending first one knee and then the other to start to create a little bit of flexibility and looseness in those calves. They tend to be a little bit tight the first downward facing dog of the day. So we're just going to walk it out so that we're not straining the muscles here. Now let's press the chest towards the mat. Inhale, look between the hands, and then we're going to take a couple of steps to join the feet between the hands. Inhale, flat back, so hands come to the shins. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, we're going to press all the way up to standing with super strong legs. Take a little bit of a back bend here, and hands come to heart center. This is called Samastitihi. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, we swan dive all the way to the ground in a forward fold, releasing the head. Exhale, we'll find that halfway lift again with a super flat back. And then on the same exhale, we're going to step back into our plank pose, chaturanga. So we bend the elbows close to the rib cage, lowering all the way to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes and pull the hips back up towards the sky. We're forming an upside down letter V with the body. Let's take the feet up towards the top of the mat again. Draw length on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, strong legs, rises all the way up to the top into a little bit of a back bend by pressing the hip bones forward. Exhale, heart center. Good. Inhale, we'll repeat that. Arms circle overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, take the hands to the shins, flat back position. Exhale, go ahead and step back into your plank, and on that same exhale, we're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Elbows stay tucked in towards the rib cage. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Just warming up into our sun salutations here. Exhale, you can hop both feet or just step them between the hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, strong legs bring you up into your standing back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Great job. Doing this again, we circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, down to the ground. Inhale, find that flat back. Exhale, step or hop the feet if you prefer back to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips come high. Now this time, we're gonna add on to the sequence, moving into our warrior series. We're gonna inhale the right leg high, belly button faces the ground. Exhale, with control, we place the foot between either hand. We rotate the back foot at a 45-degree angle, lifting those arms strong into our warrior one. Belly buttons facing the front of the mat. Don't let it roll open to the left. We're holding here for 5 breaths. Good, let's take hands to either side of the foot now as we lower down into our plank and find that chaturanga. Good. Tops of the feet come to the mat as we inhale for our upward facing dog. Tuck those toes, exhale back for our downward facing dog, and we're gonna find the same thing on the other side. The left leg lifts on the inhale, exhale, step it through between the hands, back foot pivots at a 45-degree angle as we lift our arms up nice and strong. We're really lifting from the rib cage as we hold here for 5 deep, full breaths. How you doing? Good job. Don't lose that lunge. You want to keep that knee nice and deep. And exhale, hands come to either side of the foot. We step back in a plank and lower down in our chaturanga. Inhale, tops of the feet come to the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. We inhale as we prepare to step or float the feet between the hands. Inhale, hands come to the shins for our flat back transition. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise all the way on up to standing. Finding our back bend by pressing hip bones forward. And exhale, hands to heart center. Great job. We're going to repeat the same thing, this time adding on with our warrior 2. Let's swan dive forward on the exhale. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, find that plank pose. You can float the feet or you can just step them back. Lower down on that same exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. We're gonna exhale, step it through. Now, just like we began before, we're gonna pivot that back foot. We inhale for 1 breath in warrior 1. And then we come right away to our warrior 2 on the exhale. So your belly button's gonna face towards the left side of the room. So this time we're opening up our hip bones. Our gaze is over the front middle finger. And let's find that plank. Good, make sure to pull the belly button in here, abs are engaged. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips come high, downward facing dog. And we'll take it over to the other side. Left leg lifts on the inhale. Exhale, with control, we step through the hands. Pivot that back foot as we press up. One breath, inhale, warrior one. Exhale, find that warrior two. So our hip bones open, our belly buttons face towards the right. And let's find our plank. Exhale, pulling belly button in towards spine, lowering gently to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale as we prepare to step the feet between the hands, whether we're stepping or floating. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, float the arms all the way up, circling up overhead, pressing hip bones forward into back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now taking feet together, we're gonna find our chair pose, Utkatasana. So sink those hips back. And we're gonna take the arms back on an inhale as we sink even lower. Exhale, back to chair pose and forward fold. Release the head here. Let it all go. Shake out any tension you might feel. And we're gonna take chair pose again. Sink those hips back. This time, taking hands together to heart center, we're gonna twist the right arm over the left, pressing away from that thigh to lift the heart up towards the sky. Be careful here that one knee does not come forward to the other. Inhale, we're gonna find that Utkatasana pose again, and then take it over to the other side. I know this is tough, but you can do it. So twisting away from the legs, really lifting with the heart, drawing ever more open towards the sky. Continue to breathe here. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, let it all go. This should feel so good. So take the feet back to hip width distance. We're gonna find our ragdoll here. So grabbing hold of opposite elbows, you're just gonna release all that tension that might have accumulated. We let the head go. We let the neck release from any type of effort. It might feel good to shake your head yes or no. It might feel good to sway from side to side. Whatever you need here to release more deeply in the hamstrings and in the spine and neck. Good, let's slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time all the way to standing. Good job. Moving into our standing balance posture, we're gonna shift the weight into the right leg as we draw the left knee in towards the chest. And you wanna go super tall here. See if you can lift a little higher. And slowly with control, we're gonna open that knee up towards the left. Taking it back towards center, see if you can switch hands and take the left arm back towards the back of the room. Good job. Now shifting back towards center again. Both hands come to the hips as we kick that foot forward and hold. This is much easier said than done. Good job. Go ahead and release. You can walk those feet out if you need. And we're gonna take the same thing on the other side. Right knee comes into the chest. Grow super tall here. Press the floor away from you. And then start to open that leg up to the side. So taking the left arm out to the side is really gonna help you with your balance here. If you wobble out of it, no worries, just come right on back. And then gently take that knee back towards the center as you squeeze it in with the left arm, taking the right arm all the way back. Now shifting your gaze is what makes keeping your balance even trickier. So if this is too much for you, just keep the gaze forward and you can leave that part out. Good, coming to center, here we go. Let's kick that leg forward. Hold, 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 hold. Be sure not to tilt forward and release. Good job. Okay, so let's come all the way down onto the mat now as we close with a little bit of core work. Boat pose, Navasana. So this is level 1. Release hold of the knees to make it more challenging, or for the full Monty, go ahead and straighten those legs for the full version of Navasana. We're just gonna be here for another couple of breaths. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Now we're gonna form fists. Place those fists on either side of the hips and see if you can lift up off the mat. Good. Back to Navasana, either this full version or remember these modifications are available to you as well. We're just gonna be here another couple of breaths. You can do it. Be careful not to round in the back. We want a nice flat back, and go ahead, find those fists again. Lift a little something off the mat and find our final boat pose. You got this. We are almost done with our practice. Stay strong here. Final lift off the mat, right back on it. You got it. And let's roll all the way down onto our back. We're coming into reverse crunches here, so we're gonna take the legs straight, and on an exhale, we lift the hips up off the mat and return them. So this is a very tiny movement. Torso stays on the ground, so we lift and exhale, inhale, return the hips to the ground. So they're just coming up maybe a half an inch. Exhale and lift, inhale and release. Great job. Let's bend into those knees. Soles of the feet come onto the ground as we lift the hips up into our bridge pose. Maintain some distance between the chin and the chest here. You don't want to crunch in the neck. Lifting into those hips, working into our glutes, our lower back, our hamstrings, and lower the vertebrae down one at a time until the tailbone comes down. Give yourself a big hug here. Squeeze those knees into the chest, being careful not to let the tailbone peel up off the mat. And let's either take another bridge, or if wheel is in your practice, you're gonna take hands to either side of the ear, pressing away from the mat. Now, I don't want you to take this unless you're already familiar with wheel and have practiced it before. It's an intense pose, it's not for everyone, and there are some ways to work up to it. But if it is in your practice, it's a fantastic pose. So continue to breathe here. And exhale. Whether you're in bridge or wheel, we're gently going to roll down one vertebrae at a time, pulling those knees in towards the chest for a nice little counter stretch. And again, we'll either come into bridge or full wheel. It's our last one of the day. Wherever we're at, we're lifting into those hips. We're maintaining that calm, steady breathing pattern. Good, and release all the way down to the mat. Tailbone comes down last. We're in no hurry to get there, and let's meet together with our knees pulling into our chest. Now, coming into a shoulder stand, this can be an option as long as you don't suffer from a spinal injury or high blood pressure. If that's the case, you just want to stay in the posture before. If you are taking a shoulder stand, you're squeezing the shoulder blades together as you draw the legs up into a beautiful inversion, creating a little bit of space between the chin and the chest. You don't want to feel like your neck is being crunched. Reversing the flow of the circulation and the lymphatic fluid. It's really good for our immune system. And let's take Halasana, plow pose. Again, avoiding this if you have any critical injury along your spine, particularly related to the cervical spine. Otherwise, this can be a great release in the low back. Again, maintaining a little bit of freedom in the neck. We want to feel like we have some space here and the neck is not being crunched. Taking our final breaths here. And slowly release out of this one vertebrae at a time. Feet come onto the mat. Make sure you're centered in the middle of your mat. And we're going to take a counter stretch, Vinyasa, fish pose. So our elbows come underneath us as we lift the chest and gently rest the crown of the head on the mat. Now we want to be careful to avoid any type of pressure. You're not resting all of your body weight on the crown of the head. The elbows are what are propping you up. Opening in the chest, opening in the neck throughout the throat chakra, and let's release. Praying for happy baby, let's pull the knees in towards the chest, and then we reach the hands to the outside of the feet, being careful that as we do this, our tailbone does not lift up off the mat like this. We want to avoid that. So we want to press the tailbone back down into the mat as we pull the feet closer to the upper body. Finding a deep release here in the hips. Keeping the shoulders on the ground, please. Keeping the neck super relaxed. The head stays on the mat the entire time. Finding several deep breaths here. Maybe pulling the feet just a little bit closer in. If you'd like to go further, you can lengthen in the legs straightening the knees, and finding our supine splits. Now this isn't for everyone, so if you want to skip it, you can totally stay on happy baby. Good. Returning the soles of the feet to the mat, we're going to take supine pigeon. So the right ankle crosses over the left thigh. And you can either interlace your hands behind your hamstring like this, or if you need a little more, you can reach through and interlace the fingers in front of the left shin. We're pulling this whole figure four shape in closer to the chest while maintaining some length in the tailbone. Should be a beautiful stretch in your piriformis. Relaxing into this. And release. And we're ending with the other side. This is our final pose of the day. Releasing into it. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Vinyasa practice. Namaste.